Thank you. Christopher and I debated a number of months ago at Virginia Commonwealth University. How many attended that debate or were somewhere else at the time? Just want to see if you're all listening. You're going to have to listen a lot over the next couple hours because I am going to try and summarize the first 200 pages of this book in the next 20 minutes, and that will require me to speak at about 20 pages a minute, but I can probably do it because I'm originally from New Jersey. I grew up in Neptune. Anyone here from the shore? Hey, forget about it. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm going to go as fast as I possibly can. I speak at 150 words a minute with gusts to 350. So I'm going to move really quickly. If you can't keep up, no problem. The book is available. And I want to point out that all the proceeds from the sale of the book will go to feed needy children. Mine. All right? Just so you know, I got 3 kids. 2 of them are in college, so I need some help. Now, I'd like to thank, of course, Kendall Ackerman of the Protestant Bible Fellowship. And Kendall's around here. He is right down here. I'd also like to thank Michael Tracy of the Secular Student Association. Where are you, Michael? Right down here. And, of course, the College of New Jersey, and especially Christopher. Christopher is on the road a lot, so I appreciate the opportunity to get together again and discuss this incredibly important issue. Now, the debate tonight is this. What best explains reality, atheism or theism? Now, we're both trying to explain the world around us, so we both have the burden of proof to try and say why our worldview is the correct worldview. I have to show why reality is best explained by theism, and Christopher has to show why reality is best explained by atheism. Now, I think we ought to follow the evidence where it leads, wherever that is, and I think the evidence leads us to a spaceless, timeless, immaterial, powerful, moral, personal, intelligent creator. But I want to give you some evidence for that. And in fact, I'm going to rely on the law of causality to do it. And the evidence I'm going to go through is basically 6 arguments, and I've come up with an acronym to help us remember this evidence. I know it's kind of hokey, but it'll keep me on track and keep you on track. The acronym is COSMOS. COSMOS. C-O-S-M-O-S. The Greek word for world or universe. The C stands for the cosmos itself, sometimes known as the cosmological argument. That's the argument that the universe had a beginning, and therefore it needs a beginner. So we'll start there, and we'll start with Stephen Hawking, who's not a believer, but he said this: almost everyone now believes that the universe and time itself had a beginning at the Big Bang. Alexander Vilenkin, who is a Russian cosmologist who worked with Alan Guth at MIT on inflationary theory, put it this way. He called it proof. He said, with the proof now in place, cosmologists can no longer hide behind the possibility of a past eternal universe. There is now no escape. They have to face the problem of a cosmic beginning. Now, why would he say problem? Because some physicists don't like where the evidence is leading. Now, Christopher even admits that the Big Bang is the accepted theory of the origin of the universe. On his book, or in his book, page 65, this is what he says. Now, what is this evidence that the universe had a beginning? Again, I'll give you one more acronym, and this is it. This is the acronym inside a C. It's SURGE, S-U-R-G-E, and this is all in Chapter 3 of I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. And I'm just going to go over it very quickly. And let me stop right here and say one thing. Christopher and I have debated before, and I read some of the comments that people make about the debate, and people will say, well, Turek didn't answer this objection, or Hitchens didn't answer that objection. We only have 20 minutes. We can't cover the waterfront. So I'm not going to be able to get to everything, but let me just go through this acronym very quickly. SURGE. S stands for second law of thermodynamics. The universe is running out of energy. If it was eternal, it would have run out of energy a long time ago. The U stands for the fact that the universe is expanding, discovered by Edwin Hubble in 1929, working at the Mount Wilson Observatory out in California. The deduction of that is that the universe, if we could watch it in reverse, would collapse back to a point of nothing. The R in SURGE stands for the radiation afterglow, discovered just about 30 miles from here by 2 scientists by the name of Penzias and Wilson. In fact, right over here in Homedale, New Jersey, where I used to run all my cross-country races, Robert Wilson and Arno Penzias in 1965 discovered the remnant heat from the initial Big Bang explosion, as was predicted by Hubble and his contemporaries. They won a Nobel Prize for Physics in this in 1978. The G in surge stands for the great galaxy seeds discovered by the Kobe space satellite in 1992. Those great galaxy seeds are basically temperature variations in the radiation afterglow that are so precise they're down to 1 part in 100,000. And the E in surge stands for Einstein's theory of general relativity. Einstein's theory of general relativity shows that space, matter, and time came into existence together. Once there was no space, once there was no matter, once there was no time, and it all leapt into existence out of absolutely nothing. Now, Einstein's theory has been proven accurate to 5 decimal points. Now, what are the implications of this? First of all, what is nothing? I think we ought to define that. I think Aristotle had a good definition of nothing. Nothing is what rocks dream about. That's what he said. That's nothing. There was no space, no matter, no time. Nothing spatial, nothing temporal, nothing physical. What are the implications of this? Agnostic astronomer Robert Jastrow, who until February of last year sat in the same chair Edwin Hubble sat in that Hubble sat in back in the 20s, until last year, that's where Jastrow was. He died, unfortunately, at the age of 82 last February, but he sat in that seat that Hubble did. Here's what Jastrow said in his book, God and the Astronomers. And remember, he's an agnostic. He said, the astronomical evidence leads us to a biblical view of the origin of the world. The essential element in the astronomical and biblical accounts of Genesis is the same. Arno Penzias, the guy from Holmdel, who discovered the radiation afterglow, co-discovered it, said this: the best data we have concerning the Big Bang are exactly what I would have predicted had I had nothing to go on but the 5 books of Moses, the Psalms, and the Bible as a whole. Robert Wilson, also working at Holmdel with Penzias and discovering the radiation afterglow, said this, and he was a believer in the steady state theory before this. In other words, that the universe was eternal. He had to give that up after his discovery. He said this: certainly there was something that set it off. I can't think of a better theory of the origin of the universe to match Genesis. George Smoot, the co-discoverer of the great galaxy seeds, said this: there is no doubt that a parallel exists between the Big Bang as an event and the Christian notion of creation from nothing. Now, we're left with a beginner, or a beginning anyway, and we've got 2 choices. Either